Elon Musk's announcement that he's going to be forming a third party called the America Party. We're going to talk about the floods in Texas and cruelty. Is cruelty something that is more prevalent than it has been in the past in our society and in our politics? And if so, I think you know where we're going with this. Is it something we can come back from? That was Scott's question when we were preparing for the show. All right, Scott, let's get into it. So Elon Musk was angry about the One Beautiful Bill Act of 2025, the most awkwardly named piece of legislation, perhaps in U.S. history. And he doesn't like all the deficit spending, so he proposed that if this bill passed, that he form a new America Party that would be for the moderate, mushy middle, the centrists, the reasonable Americans. These are all the things that he said, and he put out a poll on X. 2 out of 3 respondents said that they were in favor of this.
Of course,
he says he's moving ahead with it. So obviously, this brings up a lot of questions. Donald Trump said third parties never work, and this is rich. All they ever do is cause chaos and disruption. Which I was like, isn't that your bag, Donald? Chaos and disruption.
That came in second for his campaign slogan. This is behind "Let's Make America Great Again." Ted, you and I are giggling, and there's a reason why. Because we know history. We actually, know something that happened more than 2 weeks ago. Third parties, Trump's not wrong. The third parties don't work out great for the third parties generally. The last third party to be successful and have some legs and some standing is the Republican Party when it ran its first candidate in 1856. Ted, quick trivia question. Who was the candidate, the presidential candidate for the Republicans?
Not James Buchanan, right? That was the...
no, he was the Democrat.
This would have been...
the worst president ever.
Yes, that's true. Oh my God, it's driving me nuts. I have the token.
I can see him. He's from California. Not Ronald Reagan.
Fill me in. You're going to say it, and I'm going to be like, "Oh yeah, of course."
Oh, I'm having not Freeman.
Oh well,
not Freeman.
It'll come. We'll figure it out. No, it's not Lincoln. Ray.
No, I said free. Free starts with an F. Oh my God, Ted, what the hell's wrong with us? Be older, Scott and Ted. Be older.
Anyway, moving along.
Fremont,
that's right. I assume Fremont, California is named after him, maybe.
It is. He actually designed, I'm not sure if you've ever seen it, the California Republic flag.
Oh, that's impressive with the bear.
If you see the flag, it's not so impressive. The bear looks more like he took like feces on a stick and just kind of went,
it's still pretty cool. It's a pretty iconic flag.
It's a great flag. Is it a great flag because I grew up under it? I always wonder this because I'm a native Californian. Or is it really a great flag? It breaks all the rules. It's hard to draw. It has words. It's it says California Republic on it.
Yeah.
But the bear is kind of the
always star is cool.
Star is cool. The red star. I knew you'd like that. But okay, so that's the last successful third party that ever launched in the United States.
Well, wait. We have to define. First of all, okay, let's go backwards. The Democratic Party was basically founded by Andrew Jackson in 1824. Yeah, was that considered
that was a natural progression
before?
From the Democratic Republicans formed, that Madison, Monroe, and Jefferson formed. I think it was a kind of a natural progression. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that's just disagreeing with you. But
okay, all right. But no, I'm asking. So
so the Democratic Party came from the Democratic Republicans, or from, like I said, Thomas Jefferson, and then Madison, and then Monroe, the whole Virginia cabal that ran the United States for the better part of 20 years. The Federalists didn't really have a name. They kind of they were called that by their enemies, but they were,
they were not really a political party the way we know them today.
Let us take it all the way back to the Constitution, to George Washington, who wailed against the evils of political party and having separate entities, that there should not be political parties. Yes, there should not be political parties. And so, initially,
and our Constitution was set up that way, right? So originally in the first and second presidential elections, whoever won the highest number of electoral votes was the president. Number two, whoever came in second became vice president. That's obviously the party system as we know it originates really with Jefferson in 1800 in the third election, although it still has a long way to go. Basically, it's been a two-party system ever since, basically. Yes. And then major disruptions, I would say, are, correct me if I'm wrong, 1860, like you pointed out, the rise of the Republican Party, that had come from nowhere in just 4 years. Lincoln wins in a four-way race, right, between him, Douglas, John Bell, and John C. Breckinridge. My favorite.
Right, Northern Democrats, Southern Democrats, and Constitution. Bell was with the Constitution Party. And
the only true four-way race in American presidential history. And then we start getting into some interesting third-party votes there's the Populist Party in 1892. James Weaver didn't really go anywhere, but he's the Prohibition Party played a role in
was
the
it
election
perennial
starting in 1888 or so.
And can we take a side note on this? Because Ted and I are kind of mesmerized by the Prohibition Party, because you would think this would be a bunch of pent up, horrible,
stick up the ass Puritans.
Yes. And they were
don't have fun, don't drink.
Yeah, but they were anything but. Every other part of their platform was like abolition, free love,
women's
liberalizing
suffrage,
divorce, women's suffrage. I mean, it was just.
They were the
shocking.
Big left-wing party of their time.
Right.
And being for temperance was also a left-wing cause, because
isn't that odd?
Because basically alcohol was viewed, it's kind of analogous to when I was a punk rocker in the early 80s, we viewed drugs as basically a tool of the capitalist class to oppress the poor and the young, to keep them stupid and prevent them from rebelling against the system. The left...
Do you think that's still true?
I do think it's true. I think it's truer now that it's legal.
Yeah, I think the rush to legalize weed is.
You don't think we'd have a revolution by now if not for that? In the 19th century, the left believed that alcohol, demon rum, was being used to keep the working man stupid and dumb and poor. And basically, there was also just the quality of life thing, right? Like factory workers would kick off work, go to the bar, get drunk, get into a fight, come home broke, and have to tell their wives that, like, oh, sorry, it's another 2 weeks without any money. That was bad. And their wives would get upset and they'd beat their wives. So
in the alcoholism rate in the country, they estimate, because it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 22%.
That's crazy.
It was really high. Well, what else did you have to do? I mean, I can go home and get dysentery, or I can go to the bar. That was really the choice.
Right.
But the Temperance Party hung around, and the Temperance Party, again, people laugh at it and may think it's silly, but we had
the Prohibition Party.
So the Temperance Party did over
Prohibition
time.
Party, not the Temperance Party. It was never called the Temperance Party. It was always called the Prohibition Party.
Oh,
for sure.
That was Temperance Party.
There was the Temperance Movement.
Okay.
But
then the Prohibition Party,
like Carrie Nation and all those people.
Well, she was crazy. She was cray.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. She really was like, dressed in all in black.
Or she was just a badass. It depends on your perspective.
Yeah, this is true.
Someone should make a movie.
So Temperance Party,
Prohibition Party.
Okay, Prohibition Party. You also had the Socialist Party. But you also,
which really emerged in a real way in 1904 with the first candidacy of Eugene Debs,
who was a charismatic intellectual. For those of you raised in this political environment of politicians, an intellectual is someone who can think above the fifth grade level. There he is. Hey, Gene. He was thrown in prison. I think, was that the 24 election or 28 where he ran?
1920. He was dead by 1925, I think.
Oh, okay. So the 1920, he ran as one of the great campaign buttons of all time. Vote for convict number, and they had his prison number.
Yeah, it's a very collectible pin, as you can imagine. And he ran, I guess, 4 times, right? 1904, 1908, 1912. I believe
he skipped one. He skipped 16.
He skipped 16. That's correct.
Because he was running for governor or for Congress.
I think his biggest turnout was, I don't know what he was doing in 16, but I think his biggest turnout was in like maybe 1912, I think, or 08. But
okay,
and
so
then
we're moving into the 20th century with the Bull Moose Party.
That's a huge moment in third party history.
Teddy Roosevelt, for those of you unaware, Teddy Roosevelt said he would not run for another term for reasons unknown.
Yeah, for people who don't know as much history, Theodore Roosevelt became president in 1901, shortly after the inauguration of McKinley for his second term. He was shot and killed by an assassin. Vice President Roosevelt ascended, was reelected by a landslide in 1904, had a very successful 2 terms in office as the head of the progressive movement as we know it, and then left, retired in 1909, handed off things to Taft, his mentor, and basically was like, okay, I'm leaving you in good hands to pursue my policies. Roosevelt wasn't pleased with Taft. He felt that he had betrayed progressive principles and had become
which wasn't
a
true.
Corporatist, but that's how he felt. And
in fact, Taft was more of a progressive than Teddy Roosevelt, but please go on.
But anyway, this could be just one of the great misunderstandings of history, right? I mean, it wouldn't be the first or last time. And anyway, so he decided, fuck my old mentor, my mentee, my protege, and I'm running. He ran in 1912. It was a spite vote, right? It was a spite candidacy. He didn't really care if he won, but he really didn't want Taft to win. And so he split the Republican vote, handing the election to Woodrow Wilson, the Democrat, who then went on to become president in 1913. Right? That's important.
Yes. In 1912, also the Republicans, Roosevelt pushed hard to get the Republican nomination, and Taft beat him. And that's when Roosevelt and his ilk marched out of the convention and said, we are now going to form our own party. And they did. And the result was we got Woodrow Wilson, what I've considered one of the worst presidents we've ever had. So third parties can also fuck things up in a bad way. The Progressive Party continued to survive, I believe. Who was Roosevelt's running mate? It was Johnson, a former governor of California, ran 4 years after that on the Progressive ticket, didn't do well. And then in 1924, Robert La Follette, the
Fighting Bob,
the progressive governor of Wisconsin, runs and gets, I think he may be the last third party candidate to win electoral votes.
I think that's right. But he did get 7% of the vote. Because Coolidge defeated Davis so handily, it didn't matter. But the thing is, today, 7% of the vote would certainly be determinative in an election.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Could you imagine? Especially Wisconsin, which is a battleground state. So we're moving forward into the 1930s. The economy, capitalism is tits up. We've got, so you have a socialist running, you have communists running with Gus Hall.
Well, don't forget, before we get to Gus Hall, don't forget another progressive, Henry Wallace. Runs in 1948
we're still in the 1930s. Henry Wallace ran with FDR for his third term.
Yep, 1940.
And then wrote the Guru Letters. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. It's which was actually just a guide, and they're actually rather intelligent, searching for spirituality kind of letters, but they made him sound kind of goofy. He gets dumped in 44 for Harry Truman, and then FDR dies. Now let's get to 1948. That gets real interesting once again. It's a 4-way race. It's Truman, the Democratic nominee. You've got Dewey, who's renominated. He was nominated in 1940 and lost to 44 and lost to FDR. Now in 1948, Thomas Dewey, the former Attorney General and Governor of New York, is running the Republican nominee. Everyone says he's going to win. I would have been one of those guys. I said, it's a shoo-in. There's no way he's going to lose.
On paper, even with the benefit of hindsight, he probably should have won.
Well, so Harry Truman's running as a Democrat, but during the convention, Hubert Humphrey, little-known mayor of Minneapolis, gives a barn-burning speech against segregation. Well, the Southern delegation of the Democratic Party can't stand for that. They march out and form the Dixiecrat Party, nominate Strom Thurmond.
Although that wasn't their official name, right? They were officially like the States' Rights Party.
Yeah, I believe so. But they were called Dixiecrats.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, the Henry Wallace, the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, said, Harry's this conservative from friggin' Missouri, for Christ's sake. We're going to nominate former Vice President Henry Wallace for president. So it literally is a four-way race. You look at it, the Democratic Party has fractured. There's no way they can win, Ted. There's no way. Wah, wah. Harry Truman does the whistle stop thing, works his ass off and wins the election, shockingly.
Certainly wasn't with a smart foreign policy, but we can get into that.
You and I disagree on that a lot, and we
do. I think Truman is one of the biggest dinguses to ever hold elected office in the United States. But
he could be, and there's some elements of him when he was writing his biography after he left office. He's still like, in very Trumpian ways, his language. For like he always called the guys at the career diplomats, he called them the striped pants gang. It's like, what are you, 5?
You're wearing stripy pants.
So going on to 52, 56, pretty traditional Republican. Eisenhower beats
1960 also.
Yeah, but now 64 again. The Republican Party nominates Goldwater, and the Rockefeller wing and the Nixon wing is pissed off, doesn't vote. LBJ wins in a landslide. 1968, LBJ, if nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve.
Which is, of course, similar to what happened last year with Biden.
Well, except Biden went, I like cheese.
Well, and also Biden, at least LBJ did this at the beginning of the primary process.
No, not at the beginning of the primary process, but the process had already started rolling, and he came in. LBJ won. People forget this. He actually did beat McCarthy in New Hampshire. He came in first, but McCarthy came like 2 points behind LBJ.
It was too close for comfort.
And LBJ said, okay, I'm screwed.
Whereas Biden literally got his ass kicked in the New Hampshire primary and came in 4th. And nevertheless, was like, oh, I'm your man. You love me.
And then shockingly to all of us, all four was Buttigieg, Klobuchar, some others who went,
Klobuchar.
Okay, yeah, we're dropping out. And you're just looking going,
and Beto O'Rourke. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now we're in 1968. 68, third parties arise again. You've got Eugene McCarthy does not get the nomination, which he should have and deserved it, but did not run as a third party candidate. The Dixiecrats or America, George Wallace gets nominated, and does he win Alabama?
I don't
remember.
I think producer Robbie is saying yeah.
Okay, so you have George Wallace in 68 as I want to say America First Party, but that's not what it was called. American Independent Party.
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm.
So 68, 72, the party's around again, but it nominates a state senator from California named John Schmitz, who had arguably the best campaign button ever, Ted. Have you seen it?
No. And now I want it.
And only because gentlemen and ladies of a certain age will know what this is referring to. When you're out of Schmitz, you're out of gear.
That's great.
Schlitz had a slogan back then: when you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. And so he played this dumb, really stupid
what's the gear? What gear are you out of?
Who the hell knows, Ted?
Oh, you're out of gear, like you're not in gear.
I met John Schmitz when he was a state senator working in California. Mm-hmm. He was a delightful guy. I mean, he was a nut, but he was just, he was our nut. He was a just charming guy, but not real present. 72, McGovern versus Nixon. Now 76, Ford versus Carter. Again, more traditional. You did have others. I was on the Ford Speakers Bureau in Wisconsin and did a lot of events on the University of Wisconsin campus. Mm. And yeah. And we had, the communists would show up and they hated each other with a passion because you had the Maoists. Ted, you'll know this. Then you had the Stalinists.
That's how we roll.
You had the communist workers. You had the and then you had the socialists, who also had like 17 different flavors of socialism. My favorite line though was that the Stalinists were just pretty much their whole take was Stalin was just a victim of bad press.
Right.
So, but okay, that was 76. 80 gets interesting. We have another serious third-party candidate, John Anderson, congressman from Illinois, runs as a moderate because, by gum, that Ronald Reagan was just too darn conservative. That seems quaint now. But so you had Reagan, Carter, Anderson and Reagan have a debate. Jimmy Carter, then the sitting president, is invited as well. Jimmy Carter decides.
At that time, it was the League of Women's Voters who sponsored debates, and that's how God intended. That's how it should be.
I think it was. Yeah, it seems perfect.
It was a better system
compared to the bullshit we have now.
Yeah,
where it's designed. It is now designed, Ted, at this stage to exclude third parties. Period. That's its function. Anyway, so 1980, you have John Anderson, which diminished the vote enough. Reagan wins in a landslide, an electoral landslide, certainly. And so now you go to 84, you go to 88 with Bush versus Dukakis. Not really. Jesse Jackson almost got the Democratic nomination, decided not to run a third-party candidate as a third-party candidate. 92, again, third-party billionaire. Now we're getting into our wheelhouse, into contemporary politics, into what we can look forward to with the America Party, and that is Ross Perot.
Can I say something here? Can I say something? Can I talk? Can I talk now? Can I talk?
I thought he was annoying as shit. I never understood the appeal, other than he was running against a corporatist Democrat and a young Bill Clinton, and a country club conservative with George H.W. Bush. He gummed things up. He participated in the debates. He ended up with, what was the final number, Ted? 21% of the vote?
19.2.
Okay. So, and then he ran again in 96, didn't he?
He did.
Didn't perform as well, but the Progressive Party stuck around. So in 2000, Buchanan, not James, but the commentator Buchanan is the nominee. Pat Buchanan is the nominee against George W. Bush and Albert Gore.
He was the Tea Party before there was a Tea Party. He was MAGA before there was MAGA.
Yes, and so he was, but it really was a non-entity, I think, in that race. Is that the race? Is that the time when? Help me here, Ted. Ralph Nader ran and took all sorts of shit for how he destroyed America. And
yes, that's right. He ran in 2000. It was the Bush-Gore election. He ran as yes, that's right. He was the standard bearer of the Green Party, and he was. I think it's been pretty widely proven that even in the key state of Florida, he got a lot of votes, more than the 534 key votes that supposedly Bush was ahead by, although that's not true, but that's a whole different topic. If the statewide recount had taken place, Gore was ahead by 15 to 20,000 votes in Florida, but Gore was a moron. His lawyers didn't insist on a statewide recount, and they did the recount exactly the opposite of the way they should have. They asked for recounts in Democrat-controlled counties only. He should have asked for the whole state. Then Bush v. Gore could never have been decided the way it was, and it would have been fair. You just want to count all the votes in the state. But more than that, it's like if you're going to troll for votes, go look in Republican-controlled counties, because they're the ones who are going to toss your Democrat votes, right? But he didn't. His people were morons, and they committed political suicide. Anyway, the point is, it was proven pretty much that everyone who voted for Nader was not going to vote at all if he hadn't been on the ballot. Right?
And anyone who argues that, all we have to do is look at the last election.